Hello learners, welcome back to Bafunde Academy. Today we are going to look at styles in poetry. Now this is a very important part of literature because I am sure you've heard from so many people that poetry is difficult, you can't understand poetry, it only has one interpretation and it's difficult to get the interpretation. Now I want to tell you that the key of getting an interpretation in poetry is using styles. Styles are the most efficient way of understanding and comprehending poems. So once you understand all the styles that are used in poetry, it will be very easy for you to draw meaning from poetry, understand who is the persona, understand what is the theme of the message, assonance and consonance, and how they are working together to bring out the main meaning of the poem. So styles are like the major key of understanding poetry. Once you understand styles and you're able to interpret them in a poem, then it means that you'll be able to get the meaning and you'll find poetry very easy. So concentrate for this part of literature, and once you understand this, when we'll be moving to looking at other things in poetry, if you've already grasped the concept of styles, then you'll be okay. You'll be good to go. It will be very easy to understand the other steps of comprehending poetry. So the styles are also called the figures of speech, and they are used to create an image in your head of certain pieces of literature, even in short stories, in August stories, in not just poetry, but figures of speech are just generally used to create imagery so that you're able to understand better whatever it is that you're trying to interpret or to read or to entertain yourself with. So I want us to start off with metaphors. So this is the first style that we are going to look at in poetry. And metaphors are used to compare two things without using the word as or it. It just goes direct to the point. So when you're comparing two items and you're not using the word as or it, then it becomes a metaphor. For example, if I say the snow is a white blanket, can you already see in your head a white blanket and the image of a snow? It's in your head already, yeah? You can see the white, you can already tell how snow looks, and that whole winter season is almost appearing in your head. He's a shining star, meaning he's soaring high. You know, you've compared someone to a shining star. A star is above. Then if it's shining, stars are accoladed with good things. So when you say he's a shining star, then it means this is someone who is really achieving high. So when someone says he's a shining star in poetry, they don't necessarily mean that someone has become a star. You know, it has a symbolic meaning. There's something that this person is trying to communicate. Maybe trying to explain achievements of someone, trying to explain that someone has made it in life. If I say her long hair was a flowing golden river, have you ever seen someone with hair that is flowing? You know, it becomes even a wonder of the world. So this is someone just trying to communicate. The author of the poem is trying to communicate that she had beautiful hair. It may not necessarily be flowing like water in the river. You know, a river is flowless and it goes on and on and on. The hair may not be that. It's an hyperbole trying to explain that her hair was long and probably beautiful. Tom's eyes were ice as he started to stare as he stared at her. Ice, you know, it's a solid form of water. So maybe it's symbolizing that someone was teary, someone was crying. So it's not a direct meaning, it's a comparison, and so a metaphor has been used in this case. Here are a few examples of metaphors. He was a lion in the fight. We already know that the lion is referred to as the king of the jungle. The lion is among the big five animals, the top big five. The lion falls among them. And we know that it's a scary animal in the wild. So when someone says he was a lion in the fight, then he's trying to bring out the speaker is trying to bring out that this person was really competent and they were doing well in the fight, symbolizing it using a metaphor of a lion to bring out the meaning of victory of someone who participated in a fight. Education is your passport to satisfying employment. So you know what a passport is. It's the document, the legal document that you use where your visas are placed, you get stamps of your visas. If you want to move, for example, from one country to another, you need a visa to enter, and you need a passport, which is like an international identification card for you to be able to access other countries. So when we say that education is a passport to a satisfying employment, then it means you're using your education as a passport. It brings that image in your head. For example, someone who is traveling, you can already see that someone moving from one counter to another with their passport, verifying that they are legal visitors moving from one country to another. So education is being given that mandate of being a passport, of moving from one section to another, symbolizing that education is very key to getting satisfying employment. So I want you to read these other metaphors that I've not read in this pictorial and try to crack their meanings. What is the metaphor that is being drawn? What is the meaning, the lying meaning, the literal meaning of the sentence of the metaphor that has been used? Which is the metaphor? What is being compared to what? So in any time you see comparison, direct comparison, whether of human or non-human attributes, then there's an underlying meaning that is trying to be communicated. So metaphors are very key when you're writing any type of literature, works of literature, be it a poem, a composition, a comprehension, whatever it is, then metaphors are used to draw comparison. It creates the imagery and brings out the meaning even better. So in our next lesson, we'll continue looking at these styles and how they bring out the meaning in poetry. Thank you. I'll see you in our next one.